It is February 6th. It's Monday. I haven't recorded over the past week. It's been like a hard week in many ways, but this was also the first week that I was really kind of being more intentional about having some balance and better understanding where burnout was showing up in my life. So this week, I moved at my own pace, I guess I'll say, and I went to the Melt on Monday, and then on Tuesday I met Lachi in the morning. This was our first time meeting in person, but I had known about her because she was performing in New York a couple of years ago, and Diversability ended up partnering with this other Facebook group that was like the New York Tri-State Blind Community. And they were doing a conference and we were a marketing partner on it. So it was cool to meet her in person. And I was also just really, I was really impressed by everything that she was working on, because she's coming into all of this as a musician first and then a disability advocate second. And because she's in a lot of these music spaces, she can help bring the accessibility conversation to the forefront. So Thursday and Friday, Thursday I ended up meeting up with a couple of people that I had worked with at Goldman, and one of them actually became friends with another new mom who I knew in San Francisco. So I was connected to everyone in one way or another, and so was Nina. But it was fun. It was fun to reminisce what life was like 13 years ago while we were in training and those couple of years at Goldman. And even just reminiscing about life in San Francisco too. And then on Friday, I have started to think more seriously about potentially buying a place here in Los Angeles and making some roots. And so I toured a place with a new agent. I ended up messaging one from Selling Sunset. I've gone through a handful of different agents. The one that I had originally started working with back in like 2019 timeframe, I thought she was really great. We looked at a bunch of places. We even put in an offer on a place, but she ended up moving out of LA. So at the time that I met her, I had gotten introduced to another agent as well. So I got back in touch with her, but I guess because I've been taking my time to look and make a decision, I haven't really heard from them. So I decided to reach out to one of the agents from Selling Sunset. And my sister is a huge fan of the show. I've seen it too. My brother-in-law is a real estate agent. So reached out and I ended up touring a place. And then that night, that Friday night, I ended up grabbing dinner with a couple of new friends who had all met through a Taiwanese American group. And what I appreciated, so I'm going to be turning 35 this year, and half of them were 23. And there was one person in our group who was in their 40s. And so it was intergenerational. I'm like, this is so cool. But also we're in the process of starting to recruit for Sandbox, Los Angeles hub. So it's nice to kind of meet some people who are eligible to potentially join the community. So on Saturday, I took it easy. I usually try to take it easy, like one day per weekend. And then I was kind of just taking it easy that Saturday. And then I got a note from Lachi asking me if I wanted to go to the Grammys. And I had plans to meet up with one of my friends from San Francisco that I hadn't seen in a while, who was passing through town. And I feel like if someone invites you to the Grammys, you say yes. I mean, especially since I'm not in the music industry. So I said yes. I actually asked if the tickets were for me and Greg, but I just got sent one ticket, so I was just like, okay. And I have a dress that I have owned since I was in college that I pretty much just have in my closet as like my one piece of formal wear. So that was what I was gonna wear, and then I was just gonna do my hair and makeup myself. And then I found out that Natalie was also going to go, and she was looking for someone to do her makeup. So I started thinking, do I need to get my hair and makeup done? And I ended up reaching out to this Facebook group that I'm a part of called Ladies of Los Angeles, and messaging a bunch of people to see who was available. And so a lot of people were available. The pricing was a lot higher than I was thinking it would be. It ranged from like $235 on the low end to $300 plus travel, unless you ended up going to their studio or their home studio. And I'm in Inglewood, and some of these places were in the Valley or Thousand Oaks. And then I looked on a map and I was like, oh, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get there. So I was getting a little stressed out. And then it turns out that someone that Natalie reached out to was available to do it, and her appointment was at noon. And so I asked if I could be the appointment before hers. So it ended up being like a full day affair, because not only did I have to be in Mar Vista at 10:30, I think I left around like 9:30 to get there, because I took public transit. And then I got my hair. By the time my hair and makeup were done, it was about maybe like 12:20. And I had an appointment in North Hollywood to view some places. And I ended up being like 20 minutes late, which I felt kind of bad. So I ended up just taking a ride share there, even though I thought that I could budget out some public transit time. But that's the thing with public transit, is you just like can't be in a rush. And I like to create like big windows of time if I'm going to take public transit anywhere, so that I have enough time to get to where I need to get to. So I ended up looking at like 3 or 4 places. One place I like loved, and I found out today that it's already under contract. They had recently lowered the price, and it was just beautiful, open layout, tons of natural light coming in all throughout the home, a pool and a guest house in the back, in this really cute neighborhood that I'm just starting to explore. So after that, I wasn't sure if there was enough time for me to take public transit back downtown, although now in retrospect, that's probably what I should have done. But instead, I ended up taking a ride share back to downtown, because I was meeting Natalie so that we could head over to the venue together. So once we got to the area, it was like totally crowded. There were people going in all different directions. We weren't really sure what was going on, so we just started walking toward the Microsoft Theater. And we were asking people, you know, is this where we check in? Is this where the red carpet is? So they ushered us in, and pretty much they used the Microsoft Theater as one of the only ways that you could get into the venue, where the Grammys were at the Crypto.com arena. So we had already checked in immediately, like didn't even see the red carpet or anything. So we were wandering for a little bit, seeing if maybe we could leave again to go to the red carpet. And we finally decided that it probably isn't gonna, that is probably not gonna happen. So we ended up sending a note to Lachi and Arthur, and they let us know that there are these like step and repeat like photo opportunities all throughout the arena. So we ended up meeting at one, and we all got pictures taken. And I think if I could go back and like do it over again, I mean, I try not to have like too many regrets. I wish I had taken more photos. It's nice to have like a lot more options. And I ran into Nick Novicki there, and he had taken like so many different photos at all of these different signage areas, and like at the side of the red carpet. And yeah, so then you had a lot of options, while I feel like I only had one photo that we took in front that wasn't even my favorite, and then one in front of the step and repeat, but it's all good. So then we got to our seats, and we were in kind of like the top section First of all, the arena is huge, but it was so cool to get to experience that. I felt like I was in like a 3-hour concert, and it was just so surreal because I'm like not in the industry, and I'm just grateful that I'm just grateful to be in community. So Lachi ended up posting something because Ramped was an official partner for accessibility for the Grammys, partnering with Levant Consulting to help provide ASL interpreters and audio description and training. And she ended up getting tickets, and she was like, might as well bring a bunch of friends with me as well to come celebrate. So yeah, it was cool to meet Nick in real life for the first time. I saw James there. Andrea was there in our little section. A couple folks from Netflix. It was fun. And then afterward, it was really cold. And we were walking out of the area to try and get Natalie a car. And Nick and I turned to each other, and we were kind of like, should we just grab a bite to eat? And there was a food truck there. And we ended up getting some like stir fry stuff that ended up being really good because they just made it right there, and then we ate part of it, and then I headed home. And that is my experience, my first time at the Grammys. And one of the things Nick said that I really appreciated and that I'm seeing too is like, I just love it when we support each other. You know, I think that's why I wanted to create Diversability in the first place. And even though I think there can be some infighting in our community, there's just space for all of us. We can bring our friends along to celebrate our wins as well, and that's pretty cool. So I ended up taking a lot of video while I was at the Grammys, and I was gonna make, it ended up coming out to like a 45-minute compilation. And then when I uploaded it to YouTube, the whole thing ended up getting blocked because I think like CBS recognized some of the sound or something. So now the video is getting trimmed to the part that doesn't have copyright on it, which is only like the first 2 minutes. So there you go. So that's why you get a daily update from my bed of my first time at the Grammys. But just really grateful for being in LA and being open to opportunities that come like that. And so if anyone, you know, needs a +1, and I'm always happy to take footage and stuff for everyone. And Arthur, like, that was such, Arthur did that for a lot of us. Like, we actually just stood by the step and repeat, and he took all of our photos, which was really nice. So I had a great time. It was really fun, so surreal, and stuff like that just makes me love being in LA. That's the update.